now that you all are scared of everything that has been, a lot of people talking since morning, where the threats are, what is the threat landscape, everything is unsecure, and now that you know that we are all living in a vulnerable world, I thought I'll structure my presentation around the solution that we can look at today, right? So let's not. So I'm not going to spend too much time around the data that is available on the internet today, that how many attacks happened, etc., and all that stuff. So let's just quickly talk about how we can look at the solution today when we are actually defining our security blueprint. Okay. Before I start my presentation, I would like to put on 4 things which are actually critical today when I talk to a lot of these analysts, and when I talk to most of the CISOs and the CIOs. The 4 important things that comes to our mind is, first, that we're looking at integration, right? We're looking at more the point products that you have today in your organization, more the gaps you're creating for your organization. So first thing that we need to fix today is that we need to have the less point products so that we have less security gaps. The other problem in the industry today is that the multiple policies running in large organizations. So how can we look at a solution, or how can we look at the overall architecture where the number of policies are reduced? For example, if you're running 15 policies across the organization, how can I bring those policies to 7 or maybe 6, and then later on to 4 or 5? The other thing which is very, very important, which is coming up, and most of the presentation that you would have also seen here, is the mobile security, right? Today, almost all the execs, all the employees, everybody wants to be in the field, they're working in the field, and they want to access everything and do the entire work from the mobile. So the third thing which is very, very critical today is the mobile security. The fourth thing that I would point out here is about how can we as an organization look at isolating the threat, right? So for example, you have something which is absolutely unknown, we're talking about 0 days, etc., and there's something which is still not been machine learned, right? How can we make sure that we isolate the entire thing outside of my network? So people are now talking about thread isolation, they're talking about web isolation. So these are 4 things. Before I start my presentation, I thought I'll give a view that these are the 4 things which are actually currently in the top of the mind of the top CISOs and the CIOs. Okay, we saw this since morning. What are our adversaries today, right? We're looking at hackers, we're looking at cybercrime, we're looking at cyber espionages, we're looking at cyber warfare. Everybody is talking about cyber warfare. A small nation can bring the big nation down. Okay, we've spent enough time on this. I've got 15 minutes only, so I'll just move forward. This is an important chart. Today in India, this is the maturity curve that we have today in India. 95% of our customers in India or the organization are only talking about antivirus, they're talking about firewalls, they're talking about IDS, IPS, NGFs, etc., Where do we need to go? We need to go to the analytics. Where do we need to go? We need to go to ADP hunting. We need to know why this guy attacked me. What is the motive behind this guy, right? So this is the maturity curve that we look at when it comes to India and when it comes to the global peers who are actually moving that chain. The next slide that I have, the focus we need in India. Okay, everything that everybody is discussing today, since morning is lack of security talent, right? We're talking about security integrations. We're talking about targeted attacks go undiscovered for months. Managing security is expensive. Adoption of cloud. Each enterprise is an island. This is exactly what your problem is today. This is the problem of India. And what we, so I'm not saying that, we, as Symantec, we're doing this, but this is exactly where we need to go. Right? So security is technology driven, people enhanced. What we need to do exactly, the technology vendors today are saying, yes, we need people, but we need the enhancements through the technology. With security is integrated for enterprises, complex attacks discovered within minutes. How do we do that? Exactly. So this is the thought that I want to leave everybody here, that look at when you're defining your cybersecurity blueprint, look at all this, how can we actually tackle all these problems? Okay? Now this is one slide about Symantec, because I work for Symantec, so I thought I'll put it here. The power of integrated intelligence. Now, threat. It is, when we say threat means, something, and security means basically, in your mind, you're secure that you know that there is a threat available. Now, more the intelligence that you have, the more is your protection from these threats. Okay? So what I'm coming to here is that today Symantec globally secures 175 million endpoints, which is the largest, and with 4.5 billion new queries which we process every day. We acquired a company called Blue Coat last year. We've got 80 million web proxy users today, with almost 15,000 largest global enterprises with 1 billion web requests that we scan every day. We have 163 million emails that we secure today across the globe, which means approximately 40% of the global emails that we secure across the globe, and this is which means 2 billion emails are scanned per day. Okay, so all this is nothing but the intelligence which is coming together and which goes into the pool. And we've got 6 global threat response centers. The telemetry is very high. We've got a lot of research engineers. 450 million new malwares were detected last year. 338 web attacks were blocked. 100 million social engineering scams were blocked. And what happens is that all this intelligence comes to the data lake, the pool that we have today, and all this goes back to all our customers. So that's where the intelligence is playing the key role in your entire threat landscape. So I just thought I'll bring this slide up because of the intelligence that we have today. We proudly say that we are the largest threat intelligence network around the world is, the privately held is with Symantec today, because of the data that we secure and the intelligence that Symantec has as an organization, being the largest global cybersecurity company. This is Symantec at a glance. We do $5 billion, etc., etc. I'll not spend time here because all this is available online. So look at the complex user definition today. There was a user earlier, he used to work from office. Now this guy says, no, I want to work from home. This guy moves out. Then there was the advent of the cloud application, and then this roaming user started using and started accessing the web. And then, he said, no, I want to work from my personal devices, etc., etc. And what happened next was that the data was actually available everywhere. The data which was supposed to be at one place is now available everywhere. It's on his personal device, it's with his own company-owned device, it's with the organization. And what happened? And there was the expansion of the network. Today, you're looking at even the IoT devices talking and going out. So they have also started talking, and everybody is talking to everyone. So what happened? And the security architecture today is only between the head office, regional office, and to the data center. What happens tomorrow when the entire data is on SSL? What happens when TLS 1.3 comes in and we start using it, right? So what happens then? Everything which is coming in is encrypted. we need to learn what is encrypted, we need to decrypt it and understand where my organization is under the threat. So exactly on the architecture perspective, what we suggest, and you know, obviously, you know, nothing new here. Today, the attacks are multi-phased. So for example, if somebody is planting a robot inside your organization, you will have the arms coming first, then the legs, and then the other stuff, then his body, and finally you know, these guys send the gun and they start shooting inside your network. So exactly, and these goes completely, you know, you can't detect them, right? So in this case, as the security vendors today, what we suggest is on your overall cloud generation and the cloud advent that is happening, please look at everything moving through a single umbrella in the organization where you've got multiple policies across. Look at a single umbrella wherein you know what is coming in and going out of your organization. So this is the architecture. One more thing before I complete. There are three vectors: user, web, and message. These three vectors are to be secured. Security is nothing but the bad. You have to protect the bad from coming in, and the good that you have inside the organization, you have to protect that good to go out. So that's the reason the fourth pillar is information. You need to protect your information which is inside your organization to go out, and you have to protect these users, web, and messaging. I'll just go very quickly here because in the interest of time, but this is one slide. If you just remove this Symantec logo from here, you can use this slide to create your own security blueprint, right? So look at this as not products, but as the entire security blueprint. So if you guys want to take a photograph, you can do that. Just remove the Symantec logo and you're making it for your own organizations. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So this is how you look at it, you know, from the user perspective. Look at the endpoint protection. Look at the endpoint detection. Secure your data centers. Do the management and compliance. What is the board today looking at? The board is looking at one single dashboard where you say that my organization is in green or is in yellow or in red. Okay? So this is something that you can look at from your security blueprint. What do I have next? I think I have nothing. My last slide says that today, if we are talking together, we need to be prepared for something which is happening before the attack, during the attack, after the attack, and how do we prepare the organization for these attacks. So, for, you know, the last portion is nothing but, you know, how you develop the skills, how you promote the users from not doing something which you're not supposed to do. So this was my presentation, very quick and crisp. Thank you, everyone. If you've got questions, I can take it later. I'm around here for 1 hour. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.